The obsidian gates of the Eternal Citadel groaned open 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Emperor Draven Kale, sovereign of the Flame Throne and terror of the northern skies, strode through the corridors with wings folded tight against his scaled back. Ash still clung to his armor. The scent of scorched earth and victory followed him like a shadow. The war had been shorter than expected. The rebellion crushed. The traitor lords reduced to cinders before they could properly mount their pathetic resistance. Draven had returned to his palace expecting silence, expecting order, expecting the cold perfection of a fortress maintained in his absence. What he did not expect was singing. The Emperor paused mid-stride, his golden eyes narrowing. The melody drifted from the eastern wing, his private chambers. A human voice, clear and bright, utterly inappropriate for the sacred halls of dragonkind. His claws clicked against the marble as he changed direction, curiosity overriding his immediate impulse to summon the guards. As he approached his quarters, the singing grew louder. Words in the common tongue, something about sunshine and morning dew. Ridiculous. Dragons did not sing about dew. Dragons sang of conquest, of ancient grudges, of treasures claimed and enemies devoured. Draven pushed open the door to his study and stopped. Mira Ellen, his human maid, assigned to him by the Servants' Guild as part of some tedious diplomatic arrangement, stood on a ladder beside his towering bookshelf. But she wasn't dusting. She wasn't organizing. She was painting? No, not painting. She held a small brush and what appeared to be a pot of gold leaf, and she was applying it with meticulous care to the spine of one of his books. "What?" Draven said, his voice rolling through the chamber like distant thunder. "Are you doing?" Mira yelped, nearly toppling from the ladder. She caught herself spinning to face him with wide eyes. Paint smudged her cheek. Her brown hair had escaped its braid. She looked, the Emperor noted with detached observation, utterly terrified. "Your Majesty, you're back early. I thought," the messages said, 3 more weeks. "Answer the question." Draven crossed the room in 3 strides, each step deliberate. He was not angry, not yet, but he was baffled, and that was somehow worse. Mira climbed down quickly, clutching her brush like a talisman. "I was restoring your books, Your Majesty." The gilt-work on many of the spines had faded or cracked. Some were damaged by time. "I was repairing them." Draven stared at her, then at the bookshelf, then back at her. "You were repairing my books?" "Yes, Your Majesty. Books that have stood in this chamber for 3 centuries. "Yes, Your Majesty." Her voice grew smaller. "And you decided on your own initiative to apply gold leaf to their spines?" "Well, yes, but not randomly." Mira's fear seemed to momentarily give way to something that looked dangerously like indignation. "I researched each volume first. I matched the original guild marks and decorative patterns. Some of these are first-age manuscripts. They deserve proper care. The Chronicles of the Ember Wars was practically falling apart. And the collected histories of the Southern Peaks? The binding was what you can read them?" Draven interrupted, genuinely surprised now. Mira blinked. "Of course I can read them. Did you think humans were illiterate?" The Emperor had, in fact, never given it much thought. Humans were servants, diplomats occasionally, useful for tasks that required delicate fingers or fitting into small spaces. The notion that they might read dragon script, might care about dragon history, had simply never occurred to him. He moved closer to the bookshelf, examining her work with a critical eye. The gold leaf gleamed in the afternoon light streaming through the high windows. The application was flawless, not a single bubble or crack. The decorative knotwork she'd recreated matched the ancient patterns perfectly. Better than perfectly. There was a care in the work that spoke of genuine reverence. "How long have you been doing this?" he asked quietly. "Since you left for the war, Your Majesty." 3 months. I finished the lower shelves last week and started on these yesterday." She hesitated. "I know I should have asked permission, but you were at war and I thought it would be a nice surprise when you returned. I wanted to do something meaningful, something more than just dusting." Draven picked up one of the restored volumes, a treatise on wind patterns written by his great-grandfather. The spine shone like new. He could smell the beeswax she'd used to treat the leather. When he opened it, he found that she'd also repaired several torn pages with tissue-thin parchment, nearly invisible repairs that preserved the original text. "You did all this while I was away?" he said. Not a question. A statement of fact he was still processing. Yes, Your Majesty. Mira's voice was very small now. Am I to be punished? The Emperor looked at this human, this small, fragile creature who had taken it upon herself to preserve his heritage, who had spent 3 months laboring over books that most of his own kind ignored, too busy with politics and posturing to care about dusty old manuscripts. She had treated his history with more respect than half his court. No, he said finally, you are not to be punished. Relief washed over her face. You are, he continued, moving to his desk and pulling out a ledger, to be given access to the Imperial Archives. The entire collection, many of those volumes are in far worse condition than these. He glanced at her. Can you repair them? Mira's eyes went very wide. The entire archives? Your Majesty, that's thousands of volumes, tens of thousands, some dating back to the age of scale. Yes, and they're crumbling. I'm aware. He'd been aware for decades, actually, but the archivists kept insisting they lacked the funds, the time, the expertise. You clearly have the skill. Do you have the will? For a moment, the human just stared at him. Then slowly a smile broke across her face, bright and genuine and utterly unafraid. Yes, Your Majesty. I do, Dravon nodded once. Good. You'll need assistance. Choose whoever you need from the Servants' Guild. And materials, gold leaf, proper parchment, whatever you require. Send the bills to my treasurer. Your Majesty, I thank you. Thank you so much. Mira actually bounced on her toes, excitement overriding protocol. The Emperor turned away, hiding what might have been the beginning of a smile. Don't thank me yet. This is a task that will take years, possibly decades. You've just committed yourself to a lifetime's work. I know, Mira said, and she was beaming now. I can't wait to start. As Dravon left his chambers, he heard her singing again, that same ridiculous song about sunshine and dew. But it didn't sound quite so ridiculous anymore. Perhaps he thought there was more to these humans than he'd ever bothered to notice. Perhaps that was worth paying attention to.